my loud voice. Did anybody watch the Hangout on there from last time? Was that helpful? Yes? One? Okay, one person watches it. You have to reference it all. That's good. So do you have questions that have come up from last week?
Yeah, I'm just curious. So I was trying to apply the carousel to the front page of a number of different WordPress themes, but it didn't seem like it worked on very many of the themes to get the carousel in front. Is that just, I mean, is there a way to put a carousel in front of anything you choose, or is it only limited to the ones that will automatically just put it there?
It depends on which theme you're using. So if you get a theme that has a special homepage layout,
Yeah.
that's going to be harder to modify, especially if it's one of those one-page homepages where it's got set sections. So you have like your header image, and then your call to action button, and then your 3 circles, and then your bar. Those are kind of set up, and modifying those is, if they don't let you explicitly do it in the customizer, you have to go into the code and monkey with it and use a child theme, and that's going to be much more complicated. But you could use their default template, which should just be kind of a blank article template, and then you could insert the slideshow into it and assign that as the homepage in the reading settings.
So a lot of the themes don't have a selection of templates. I noticed that some do, but some don't have very many templates.
They should at least have a blog, river, so like a page that lists all the blog posts in order, a homepage, and a with and without sidebar. Most of them have at least those templates in them.
Can you go over that process?
Yeah. Let's go to this one. And hopefully I can remember how to get in. So the other way would be to choose a theme that already has a slideshow on the homepage, which would probably be a photography type theme. So let's look at that. See if I remembered. No whammies, no whammies. Looks good. Ah. All right, I gotta go check the. Shoot, I don't know if I. Remember how to get into this one. Maybe it's gonna lock me out if I don't get it right. I think that's it. Yeah, that was housekeeping with 3s for ease. Oh, it was H. Hogan. Oh, and then a $. Let's see. Now let me try this. I have 2 of them. I don't want to, well, I could spin up a new one. What it was? That's queen. Yes, no, maybe so. No. Okay, we'll just spin up a new one to play with.
Sometimes it seems like even when you know it's right, you have to enter it 20 times. What's up with that?
Well, I'm not sure. It's the downside to using a password manager. Can't remember any of them. Okay, so let's install a new WordPress on my server real fast. Let's see. And always make sure this email is correct so you get your password reset. And just gonna do a little screenshot of that. So a few of you had that problem. I take screenshots of everything and I back up my screenshots automatically to Dropbox. It's kind of fun to go back to your screenshots after the year and see what you were working on. And I use the Command-Shift-4, lets you just select an area to take a screenshot of. There's also this plugin for Chrome called Awesome Screenshot, which lets you, it's really great. You can annotate the screenshot, you can blur out addresses if you want to show something to a client and keep something hidden. You can write on it, you can type on it in red, you can circle things, you can do arrows, and then you can send. Awesome Screenshot. It's very handy. I use it at least once or twice a week.
That's an app.
It's an add-on for the Chrome browser. So it shows up in one the side here is a little tool. Let's see. Awesome. Screenshot. Yeah, and you can upload stuff to Dropbox and gosh, I've used it not only just to show client stuff, I'll use it to, you know, when I'm signing up for something and sharing it with a friend. I used it in a client project where they wanted to have an archive. They were moving email newsletter services from Constant Contact to MailChimp, and they wanted pictures of all the emails they'd sent over the years. So I just opened a bunch of tabs of them and took screenshots and saved them to a Google Drive, which was really easy. So it's a pretty handy tool. And it was in class. I don't know if it, in class. Yay. Okay. So let's look at some themes. So if you want a slideshow on the homepage, you're probably going to be looking for, you can use the feature filter. And I would try a photo blogging one. Those generally use larger images and have slideshows in the.
Are you looking at WordPress.com?
So I'm on my site. So in this site I just installed, and you go to themes and you go to add new, and it'll basically, it inserts the theme repository in your site.
But did you told us to only go to WordPress.com, right? Because
Yeah.
I just wasn't seeing a lot of options on WordPress.com.
I start there, but yeah, if you can't find anything that's fitting your needs there, you can also kind of cross-reference by seeing if something you found on .org is also good on .com. It's not a hard and fast rule. It's just if you want to make sure you have a theme that's not buggy and has problems, then if it's on .com, it's going to be pretty good. So here's one with a full screen slideshow.
I don't think that one goes into I tried to do that.
You tried this one?
I had some trouble with that one. I can't remember what the issue was, but it either didn't work the way I thought it should. Or...
Let's read a little. Multi-purpose, business, restaurant, freelancers. It's got your 3 boxes. These are blog posts. So it's pretty basic. It's got the 3 calls to action here, a slideshow with a little timer, menu, spot, it's got some buttons. That's a pretty good.
Yeah, that one, for some reason, it didn't show up when I went to my web page and then did search for that.
Okay,
for that theme, and then it didn't show up.
Let's give it a try. So I'll install it. And since I was already in my site, it just kind of goes for it. I'll activate. And this is a blank site, so there's not much in here. I probably have to add some content to really make it work. So just with the default content, let's see what it looks like. So yeah, pretty simple. So to a lot of the fancy themes, you have to customize through the customizer, and there's a pro version, of course. So logo, and you can kind of update your logo here. You could hide your logo. It's tagline. My test blog. Here's the test. So you can turn that off and on, which is nice. And always hit that save and publish after every few changes, because if you close out of it, you'll just lose your changes. And the slider. Oh, so this is cool. It's got full slider capabilities. I wonder if it tells you what. You have the options. So you have the options for the image. You have text in there. You've got 2 buttons, so 2 calls to action that you can put in. So if you had, so I'm actively shopping for a theme for my art website, and I made a list. We'll talk about this in Discovery really soon. But I made a list of the things I'm looking for, and this is kind of one of them, where I want to have my main slideshow show my top 4 offerings. So I've got my craft booth, my fine art, classes, and something else. And each one of those slides I could then tailor to a particular call to action for whatever that main focus is. So I could have a picture of my fine art, or not, or I could just leave the buttons and the headlines out. Because you can just remove them like this, and then you've just got a straight slideshow, see? Then you just have a picture, which is cool. So if you just leave it blank, it'll keep it that way.
And when it says buttons, is it like that view features and learn more? Are those the buttons it's referring to?
Yeah, so if I switch this, if I add to this, see now it says new features.
Okay.
And then you add the link to wherever you want it to go right here. So if I had one that was view new products in the shop, I would have the button linked to the shop, basically. I don't know if you can add more slides. You should be able to. It seems weird to only have 2. But, oh, add more slides. So that's the pro version. So you only get 2 slides for the thing. Icon call outs. Is that this? Oh. Call out laptop. wow, this is weird. Okay, so there's display icon call out on front page. I'm guessing that's this little thing here. And then call out one. Oh, so this is this box right here. So you can choose from these icons. So now it's a little bed, info, this little eye, responsive is rad. You can change that up. So these are good when you identify in your discovery kind of what you're selling and what you're talking about, your main talking points, then it's a lot easier to fill these things in. Do you want me to go back and do the discovery part and then we can actually fill it in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Is there any other questions before I kind of dive in on other things?
Well,
Maybe.
I think sometime during the semester, I'd like to do more with the CSS and HTML because we didn't learn that in 460 and it seems
Okay.
like we thought we did. And,
Mhm.
you know, we're here, we were told we'd learn that here. So
Okay.
the more that we can learn from you while we're in class would be helpful.
Okay. More HTML and CSS? Sure.
What about themes that are on people's own websites?
What do you mean?
Like people make themes and they sell them on websites of their own.
You want to learn how to make a theme
rather
from
than getting it
scratch?
off of WordPress.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's themes like theme forests, like those kinds of ones.
Are they known to be pretty safe
Um,
or not?
it totally depends. So I know Robin Waxman uses the Divi theme and she really likes it and it has a builder in it. And there are theme foundries where people build design themes for a living to sell, which is great. You can get some really good themes and they have really good developers behind them. And you'll probably get a good theme that's going to last you and be supported for at least 3 to 5 years. My concern, and this is true of almost any theme, is that the more kind of obscure and the less used the theme is, the less motivated those developers are to keep it up. So if they built it in, 2016, by the time 2020 rolls around, they might see very little value in keeping it updated for the 100 people that are using it. But that's true with any theme. So I don't know. I feel funny paying for themes, which seems wrong because I should support people that build themes. There's just so many that it's really hard to find out which ones are good. And there's so many good free ones. And I like to stick to the ones that Automatic publishes because I know that they're going to keep them up. But that said, sometimes you need a theme that's different than that. So I have used themes. So like this site, but I'm also okay with, if the theme breaks on the update and I have to fix it, that's fine. So like this theme, I don't even remember where I found this one. This is my parents' cabin rental. And it had all the right things. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna go with that one. And this was more like, this is for myself. So if I have to update it, I don't care. That's okay with me. If I was selling this to a client, I might be a little bit more wary about just choosing an old theme. I just found one that had the look and feel that I wanted, the layout that I wanted, and then it took me an hour or two to just build it. So if in 5 years it breaks, I don't really care that much. I can just rebuild it in 10 seconds,
So what are the things that you're looking at, code being buggy or updates being needed, or what are the problems you're talking about?
When I'm looking at themes, I generally want to look at number of stars, number of reviewers.
No, what are the problems that you're looking at? I mean, what do you
Oh.
think breaks?
See, that's the thing. You don't know until the problem I've had that were theme related. I've had themes break when I update the core software. It doesn't happen that much anymore. But I'd have like pages that just didn't load correctly, or the layout was messed up. So just weird, buggy issues. And then you have to figure out, what was changed. Sometimes it's a plugin, sometimes it's the theme. You can turn them on and off and see if that fixes it.
Who's Automatic? Is that?
That's the company that runs WordPress.com.
Okay.
Yeah. And there was that, somebody mentioned the theme checker would be a good thing to talk about. Yeah.
I'm on the best design right now, and it's giving me WordPress themes based off of design portfolios that people are top rated. So I'm going through like configures and WordPress.
Oh, yeah. There are tons of articles like that where.
What's it called? It's called thebestdesigns.com, and it's other themes.
So you're gonna find a ton of articles like that. And as I've been searching for themes, you search like top artist themes, you'll see tons of articles by people who are in the web design business talking about good themes to use. And usually they'll say it has this, it doesn't have this, or it costs this much, or
Yeah.
They're so vast, it's really hard to pick. Most themes you're gonna be fine with, at least for a few years. Notice they're always gonna last. Yeah, a lot of them you have to pay for, and the people who are writing those articles are affiliates generally to get a cut.
Okay.
So those articles are not just out of the time. Usually.
I have a question about when you do build a site for somebody, for a client. As far as doing a refresh or an update on the look and feel, because if you even compare what websites look today compared to 4 years ago, it's all going flat and, should you recommend to a client be prepared to upgrade the look and feel and maybe even change the theme in 5 years? Or you can't keep the same website look and feel.
Yeah.
It's outdated.
So exactly in that topic, this is a client's website I built. 7 years ago, quite a while ago, and I've been maintaining it off and on. Basically, they called me. It got hacked. There was prescription ads getting injected in weird places. They hadn't updated it, so they contacted me. So I was doing maintenance for really low cost, and finally, they made a hint that they were maybe thinking about redesigning because it looks kind of outdated now. And so I proposed a redesign and I got it. They hired me to do it, almost some of it. So that is usually an organic process as far as when to update. And usually if you're still in touch with them, so that's a good way. I put on my calendar to get in touch with clients every quarter or so, or if I'm reading an article that reminds me of that client, I'll send it to them just so that I'm kind of in their head. So that when the topic of redesign comes up, they think of me. And especially if there's clients, if there's a really big core update that I think might hurt their site, then I'll call them too and be like, hey, there's this big update coming. So there's a security risk if you don't update. Would you like me to do that for you? And then feel them out the reason,
And where would that come from? Where would a core update like that come from?
From Automatic, from the WordPress.org.
And when we're looking at themes, I noticed the one I'm looking at grid speed by modernthemes.net. Would you select theme such and such by Automatic, but whatever?
Yeah, you can see in the Foundry, you can list all the themes by Automatic.
Okay.
So if I go back to add new, I think.
There's other designers on the site.
Yeah, and as you get more, familiar with themes and try them out, you'll maybe recognize authors. That's not right. No, so that one's by WordPress.org. Let's try that. No? Yeah, the more you look at themes, you might see the same authors pop up, and know that their work is kind of quality. It's hard to, why isn't it giving me my ability to, hold on. You can sort by author in the themes. So I'm trying to do. It's not happening easily for me. There, so you go to one and it'll say who it's by. If you hit that, it'll show you all of them. So these are all the WordPress.org themes.
So when you add from within one that you already have open, and you go to themes and add, and the selections it lets you upload are from all of WordPress.org and all of WordPress.com?
I believe that it shows you the repository from .org. So it's this set. The .com set is more limited.
Okay, so you really do have to go over and search for the theme and check it out on the other site.
If you are really concerned about the security of your theme. And that's especially, and you can kind of tell by your client. If you have a client who's really, really touchy about like security and wants to make sure that the site is gonna like built to last, that kind of mentality where they're really emphasis on quality, security, really good code, then I would definitely cross-check with .com to make sure that your theme is bulletproof. If it's a client, if it's your sibling, your friend, and they just need a website and they don't have that much money and they want it to look a specific way, and that's more important to them than security and safety, I would just pick a theme that works, try and make sure it doesn't have a bunch of bad reviews, that at least a couple thousand people are using it, and go for it. So it really depends on the situation about how secure you need that to be. So there is no kind of perfect security. It's just whatever your user will tolerate, right?
Okay, this is probably a little bit more basic question, but like, for example, 2014 up there, that's what at times that's the look and feel that I want. But when I get my initial screen, it's basically blank. There's nothing there, other than whatever I put in for pages. But so to control that, I guess I have to go to customize, and at that point, those on the right side of the screen, those would be sidebars.
Yeah. So look.
How to control that is when you have to go to the customize and go to each area individually.
Yeah. If you usually every theme, any well-built theme will have documentation and kind of some support. So here's a support forum for this one that'll kind of tell you, so if you're trying to figure out a specific thing and you just search, 2014 theme featured image, it should help you figure out where to change what you on the back end, what you want on the front end.
So if I wanted to look exactly like that, except for with my photos, then
so
where do I start?
I'm pretty sure, I haven't used this theme, but I'm pretty sure these top images here are featured images from blog posts. And I'm guessing that because see where it says featured, travel, featured, nature, those are tags. And I just know that because that's how they're usually displayed and because I've used WordPress for a long time. And you would probably want blog posts there rather than pages to show your kind of constant progress and updates. Same with this one is a blog post, because you can see it says city, which is only happens just for posts. Easy to edit. And I know that those images are probably featured images, because anytime you are displaying posts, that's the image it's going to grab first. Sometimes it'll default to the first image in the post. It depends on how the theme is built. So first you're going to need a bunch of posts with featured images. Then sometimes there's like a checkbox or something. Sometimes there's a setting that says which posts show on the homepage. So it's more of like a hide and seek kind of thing sometimes, unless you know specifically what you're trying to fix and you Google it. Someone has had that question before and someone has answered it.
Okay, so an alternative, if you don't want to put tags up there and go through all that trouble, you can just set up your home page with insert media and put your pictures there and just position them along with whatever header you have.
It's not going to look as pretty because it's not built in. It's not like the built-in functionality.
Okay.
Especially putting images side by side in the editor, there's really no good way to do that yet. Just because of responsive, you can add divs and do them at 50%. It's just, it's a lot of work. It's possible, it's just a lot of work.
I think what seems confusing to newbies is that you choose a theme and then it looks blank, because the blank, it is a blank.
Yeah.
And the space is there, but it's not clear if some of those functionalities are already there and you just need to plug into them, or if you need to add to them, like you're talking about building the page.
Yeah.
So is it both, or is it?
So every theme is built differently. It's kind of the Wild West. Every theme is built differently. So there's some standardization in the customizer, which is a newer thing. Usually the theme developers will put everything in the customizer. The best advice I could tell you is put all your content in first and just use the standard 2016 theme. Get all your content in there. That way, when you switch the theme over, you're gonna be able to see things. So you've already got your at least five blog posts with featured images, and you've got to put your read more tag in there, which is what keeps it from showing the whole blog post in the river. I'll show you that, remind me. So if you have like 5 pages and your 5 blog posts and your menu already built, then you have content, and then when you switch the themes, you can kind of see where things lie out. And that way, that's gonna make it easier for you to modify things. But unfortunately, there is no like set rule. If you use the same theme foundry over and over again, generally, hopefully those will have similar ways. And really, it's just practice. The more you do it, the faster you'll get at it. I still can't find things sometimes and just Google it because I get tired of looking. Because there's standards and recommended best practices, but they're not always followed. So.
Also, I found when you install a theme and you think, okay, I'm doing okay, then it has all of the recommended plugins that you have to put in.
Those,
So I ended up putting in my 10 and I ended up with a shopping cart and search and all that.
yeah, you don't have to put those in. If they're recommended, so usually those are recommended based on the full functionality of the theme. So if you choose a theme that you like just because you like the way it looks, but it also includes WooCommerce and a shopping cart and all that, if you're not using that, you don't have to install those. And if you're not sure, you can always have them installed and deactivate them and see if anything breaks, basically. And sometimes you can usually tell, like I'm using a theme right now that is saying I need pirate forms. And that's because the one-page homepage, the bottom row is a contact form. And that's just you need a plugin to run forms, period. And that's the one that they chose. So I have 2 options there. Either I have pirate forms to run that contact form, because I'm also using Gravity forms to run other functionality, which is confusing when I hand it over to the client. They're gonna be like, which form do I go to? You know? So I'm thinking I'm just gonna remove that homepage contact form, because actually that's not a very high priority for this client who's being contacted. So I can remove that section of that homepage row and uninstall that Pirate Forms plugin. That way it limits confusion. Because when you're building, you want to make sure that when you hand it over to the client, they can maintain it too. So you want to limit the spaghetti mess as much as possible.
So if you choose a different theme, if you already added all those plugins and then you say, oh, I'm gonna switch it, those other plugins stay in there, so now you're just adding more and more plugins.
Switching themes is a chore. You wanna like try one out, give it an hour or so, and if it's not working, then abandon it and go to another one. Because once you get a theme all set up, switching it, you have to kind of have to redo everything. Sometimes the customizer has export settings, and then you can import those in, but it's rare that you're gonna find compatibility between them.
Okay.
Yeah, which is, themes help, definitely. And if you were building from scratch and your client said, I want all different design, you'd have to rebuild it. So themes do save you time, but they can make you want to shoot yourself in the head sometimes.
Okay. Are you also planning to cover what's in these days, what's current design, what's in vogue? For example, shopping carts, is that still around?
Oh,
you see
yeah.
that little icon up there, or is there something else better than shopping cart.
No, I mean, online commerce, the shopping basket, shopping cart methodology is just in. I generally don't like to talk about design trends because they come and go so quickly. I used to follow them, and it's after 10 years, I'm like, I can't anymore. It's just exhausting. Do what, and generally your design should be dictated by your client and not what's hip. And I've found whenever I've tried to push a client into like that, ooh, let's try this cool flat design, the long shadow design, immediately their site looks out of it. If you want to be that like forefront of the design patterns on the web kind of person, then you're probably going to not be building full websites. You're going to be a user interface, a UX designer, and you're going to be building interfaces because that's where those design trends are generally started. In which case, that's a different skill set than what I'm talking about here.
And you're gonna be blogging about it and trying to keep up with all the other people blogging about it because that's all.
Yeah.
Keep up with it.
You're gonna be on Dribble. Like if you love the way that buttons and sliders look, that's a totally different career than this. I'm trying to teach you how to build websites, how to be the business advocate for your client, how to use WordPress to quickly and easily get people online and get paid for it. And a lot of that, I'm teaching the class I wanted to take that I could never find. This constantly pisses me off. I want to learn something and there's no class out there, so I teach myself. And then I end up teaching other people because they want the class. So I don't have like a set of rules. There's books out there, but they all teach it differently. I'm giving you what I've learned in the last 15 years doing this and what I feel has kept my clients happy and kept them coming back. But I've dabbled in enough areas in web to kind of know if this really turns you on, then that's where you want to head. So hopefully this class will help you figure that out, basically. So any more questions?
We're gonna show slideshows.
I'm sorry?
We're gonna get into slideshows. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get into some slideshows today, but let's do the discovery thing first, because that will help you figure out what your slideshow needs to have. So, discovery. Discovery sounds big and scary, and I should have talked about it probably before last week's demo. Because your blog prompt is to do discovery on Fiona's photography. And it's 8 questions, and I only need 2 to 3 sentences in each question. And you should already know this. A lot of it should be in your proposals, you're just regurgitating. If you don't know this, you need to. And this is different than normal life, because normally you have a partnership with your client where you're figuring this stuff out. But hopefully they have already figured it out for their business. Often not. So you kind of have to be a business guide in a way too. This is kind of forefront on my mind right now because I'm trying to go through it for my business, my second business. And I did this for some people were like, saw my proposal and my website, and they're like, oh my God, there's so much color ahead. It took me years to get to that website. My website was crap for a long time until I really focused on who I am, what I'm selling, defining my core values, all that stuff I've been telling you guys about. So this is kind of the step I did after I did my core values, figured out what's my unique value proposition, why should they buy from me instead of somebody else, what do I stand for, how do I differentiate myself, so that's your why. You also need to know what pages the sitemap, basically, of the site you're building. So for Fiona, we know that we kind of define that. There's going to be a homepage, contact, about, and then different products that she's selling. The site goals and calls to action, you want to make sure you know why you're building a site. What do you want the user to do after they come to the site? And this is totally different for every different client. So for a restaurant, the calls to action are the contact and directions and hours and the menu generally, right? Because when someone comes to a restaurant webpage, that's usually what they want to know. For a business, it's different. It could be review our products, and it could have a pretty vast array of products. So that might be a different call to action for each page. And Jennifer's actually gonna talk a little bit about that, which is really cool. You wanna know who your ideal audience is, who your clients are, basically. And this is a really good exercise to do. There's a webinar in the next slide that we're not gonna listen to, but I took it and it really helped me figure out who my ideal client is, especially if you're just starting or your client is kind of just starting out. It helps to kind of walk them through that. This is also called, can be called user personas. When we did this for the library, we met with a bunch of librarians from all the branches and talked about who is in the library, who is using the website, what are they looking for? And we came up with 8 or 9 personas, so like fake people, and we found stock images of them. So we had like a mom with 3 kids that she homeschools, and what is she looking for at the library? We had a guy who was like 45 and worked at the state and had a long commute, so he rented audiobooks. And what does he need to do on the library website? So kind of defining who is coming to your website and what they're doing and looking for is gonna help you build the site to fill their needs quickly. Your elevator pitch, that's your, your cocktail party spiel. So depending on what cocktail party I'm at, and so, hi, I'm Heather, I make websites, I teach websites, I live websites. I'm at an art thing, and I make art to wear and hang on your wall out of recycled materials and printmaking and watercolor. I'm working on that one, it doesn't come out as easily. Been doing the website one for a long time. So your elevator pitch, like a couple sentences, who you are, what you do. And that's probably gonna be on your homepage, maybe like a footer, kind of every page should reiterate that. The value proposition, the rockstar statement, is a little bit longer than the elevator pitch. And then the last part is the theme need. So based on all this information, what am I looking for in a perfect theme? So like for Fiona, we want something with an integrated slideshow, probably want call to action buttons, social media buttons included, if you want to tie their social media activities, stuff like that. If you're selling, you want a cart built in.
Is the value proposition kind of like to follow the elevator pitch, why you do what you do?
Yeah. What distinguishes you as the best providers of that service? What are your unique qualifiers? So this woman is named Raina. She runs a company called Raina & Co. I found her through an organization called Tuesdays Together. Like the Rising Tide sites, it's like long. Anyway, I watched her webinar and thought it was really good. She runs a kind of coaching business, and I asked her if I could put it up here and share it with you, and she said yes. The link down here, the RTS, is the worksheet she talks about. I'm not gonna play this right now, but you're welcome to watch it. I found it really helpful to help define me and my business and my audience, and she talks very differently about it than some other presentations I've heard, so I thought her take was good. This link right here, it was done as an interactive webinar, but that one has a long lead time. But I think in this, so this is the YouTube of just her talking, and she's reading comments that you can't see. So if that's frustrating to you, then do the other one, because that should have all the comments on the side. But that's not the one I watched. It wouldn't let me fast forward. It's really bad. I'm like, how am I gonna do it? And if you're not interacting, I don't know that you need the interactive one. It's just a recording at this point. So she has some good stuff. Let's see if this, make sure this works. So you have to sign up to get her. It's a worksheet that helps you fill out your like rock star statement and all your ideal audience and stuff. So I thought we'd do a demo really quick of Discovery for this job that I already did. This is a friend of mine who started her own in-house Montessori, and she gave me this image and this flyer. I had to build a website out of it. So I want to go through I didn't do a formal discovery because I knew her, I knew already what I was going to do, but this would be a good example to kind of go through. Try and get that a little bigger. Okay. Oh, and I also made a logo for her based on that image. So she had, this is the brand, the one she chose. So we kind of did it backwards where I built the website first. Here's the website. I built the website first and then we did the logo. I used all my own photography. I take a lot of pictures. So these are just pictures I had. These are our kids a few years ago. So I took the text from that flyer she had and pictures I had of us. That's my tomatoes from my garden. And just kind of knowing her. I also, a great way to fill in content for people who don't have a lot of it is quotes. To find quotes on whatever they're doing and kind of fill those in. And this is just a picture I had of her. Took the tuition and schedule from her flyer and then built a little contact form. And for her, the big thing is getting enrollment. So that's why there's a lot of emphasis on contact. So know, like, trust, buy. So you get to know her, you get to like her by learning a little bit about her. You trust her because other people, she had a blog on here, but because of the sensitivity of pictures of children, we've hidden it. It's not fully secure, but it's just, you have to be a parent and like know the special link to it. But that would be part of like the trust if she blogged more that was more general. And the buy is the get in touch. So this is what we have. So why? Oh, and this little blur here is done by that awesome screenshot. I blurred out her address. So why does she do what she do? She does. I know this because I know her. She's been talking about it in this business for years, but because she loves watching children develop. So there's this big, in the site, there's kind of a big emphasis on, she's kind of crunchy granola, like outdoor activities, hence the picture of the tomatoes and the rocks, and she just like kids, she loves that kids learn by play. So I kind of knew that about her. So her why might be something, and you can just make something up for a client. If they don't know, say, here's what I think your why is for listening to you and me asking you questions. You want to open this Montessori because you think the greatest thing in life is watching children play and grow. And she's identified this age, like 1.5 to 2.5, that she just loves. So that's her why. Because she just loves the amount of growth and challenge and change there. Her branding, she didn't really have. She had this picture. Then I've seen her space, so I kind of knew like what that felt like. So you saw the logo that came out of that. Usually your client will come to you with at least a logo and maybe some colors and kind of go from there. She didn't have colors, so I went with rainbow because it's a school and kind of fit that. The site map, we kind of made up based on this. So contacts is at the very top. You can kind of see the site coming like this. You got a schedule, you got a tuition, you have kind of the about. So that came into those pages. So our site pages, and I had home and about, and it turned out because we took the blog out, they were the same page, so I just took it out of that. So we have the home, teachers, so this is kind of the about. Teachers, tuition, and schedule, and then contact, right? And then she has a blog, but it's hidden. So it's like a parent blog. So we built, just kind of based on this overview, we can build out what pages you might add, right? The call to action, you'll see it written as CTA sometimes. Her call to action is enrollment. Enroll, and so calls. That's what she wants, is people to call her and enroll, right? Her ideal client, any guesses? Young parents. Young parents? any particular kind of parent. She's closed on Fridays. So is she looking for executive mommies? No. And she's out there in Montevilla in Portland. They're not downtown. It's kind of crunchy granola, backyard. Yeah, young parents, or like part-time professionals. Locals, right? That's a big thing. Montevilla's a very like local kind of neighborhoody kind of place. And kind of like maybe liberals in a way.
Kind of out of class education.
Yeah, so like hippies even. She has a lot of hippie friends.
Hippies with money for daycare.
She's also very inexpensive.
Oh, it's like, that is cheap.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got the camera, I'm like,
How are you guys?
So she's looking for people who care, like communities. It's like that's why the site is kind of friendly and colorful, lots of pictures. If her ideal client was professional moms who work downtown in Pearl District and that it was expensive, it would look totally different, right, than what I built. So that's why knowing who you're talking to is really important. Her elevator pitch, her rock star statement is something like, she has a master's in library science but hated it and chose to go back to school and become a Montessori teacher because she loves children. So her rock star-ness comes out in her love and passion for young kids. And the fact that she built a school to teach, like, this is her dream. So something like that. Her theme needs for the design of technology. So I know she needs a contact form. I chose a theme with, we should write this down, because this is actually what I'm doing for the other. I have a list, and it's just a bullet point list. And I have all this stuff in one just Google Doc that I just keep in the folder just for reference. You don't even have to show it to your client, because this is a process that you need to go through so that you know what you're building. So your theme needs for this one, contact form, large header image, because we didn't have a ton of images. I was using images from when we camped together in my garden. She didn't have any images because the school wasn't open yet. So having a large header image on every page helps with that, because you only need 3 or 4 or 5.
Can you know all these things by just looking at like the theme sheet, or do you have to like, pick a theme and then find out if they have all these things?
You can usually tell by the screenshot of the homepage picture. Because like that photography theme where it was an image for the main, that's not appropriate. Like, you kind of tell. What I'm usually looking for is, blog posts on the homepage, like a blog feed on the homepage, or a portfolio. So if you have someone who has a portfolio, then you want to make sure the portfolio stuff is on the homepage. And a lot of the themes you'll see now have the 3 things or 4. I usually look at the demo, the theme demo, and kind of look around and see if it has, because it'll show you all the stuff it has, and the content it uses in the will usually tout the capabilities of the theme. If colors and branding are important, you want to make sure that you can change those in the theme. So oftentimes that's a setting that they'll make you pay for. And if it's $50, that might be worth it. If it's $100, I went through and I was telling you I downloaded the CSS, copied it, and pasted it, and custom. Took a little longer, probably at my hourly rate, better to just buy the theme, but whatever. A lot of the themes that will let you choose your colors, so choose your link colors, choose your accent colors. And if that's usually something you're gonna need. Also fonts, sometimes they will let you just choose from the Google fonts. You might need that. You can do it with CSS, and we will talk about that probably next week. I'll do a whole class on customizing your child theme. But check if the customizer lets you update fonts and colors. It's gonna be something important. Header image. That was about it. I wanted fun and playful colors and kind of clear, not fussy text. Kind of what I was looking for. Kind of a fun and playful feel. So there you go. That's discovery. It's not that bad. But the larger the organization and the more complex it gets, the longer these get. I've had the staff library discovery is like 20 pages. But it really depends on the client. With most small businesses, you can get away with just a 30 page. So there's the logos. And that was pretty fun. And if you're interested, I did a really short write-up. I try and save all the steps for every job I do. And if there's time or when things are slow and the client agrees, use it as a portfolio piece. And the most impressive portfolio pieces that I've read show the steps, especially if you take pictures of sketches. Those look really impressive and show that you have thought not just the finish. So if you have the before picture, the sketches, the discovery, all the background that went into it, and then the final product for your portfolio, that's a really good thing to just be in the habit of kind of saving. So there's the discovery report we did, and that's all I was going to talk at you about. Unless you have more questions. So do you want, we have 2 hours to either have like open or I can talk about certain questions.
I have a question on the Johnny's website. I was looking at trying to look at, I guess, the widgets and trying to do like the social media adding the buttons are adding just to show up there. And I got kind of confused with like, because I guess on the widgets it talks about like having a URL and the tax space, and I wasn't sure like what to how to add that social media to.
Okay.
Decide like what.
Let's see.
I'm just confused on that.
I push the URL, it doesn't work.
Oh, okay, right. I was wondering if
Yeah.
to do that or other.
Since there is no actual, let's use the Athena one. Yeah, since there is no Facebook page, you can just pick one and use a stand-in. It's got a shop. So this is that Athena plugin. Overlay, right sidebar. So let's see, your question was adding social. I think I need to install Jetpack first. So I'm using my test one. I'll install Jetpack. And this is telling me to install our team showcase. I don't think I need that because I don't have a team. Okay, so we'll find, come on. We'll show some social stuff. And the socials are different depending on the sites. There's all different. Some themes have built-in icons where you have, it'll just show them at the bottom and you link to your social accounts. Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about showing a feed?
Well, I think that the thing that I picked that has like a social icons, and so I guess with the icons, I guess if you clicked on those, it would take you to the link, whatever you, so you have to have a URL, have a link, or you pick some link to put in there then to have them pop up.
Yeah, I would just link to one that's similar, like go to LinkedIn and find a photographer just link to that. Maybe. Dang it. So here we have, let me grab some of the images. And let's do some photos. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump start as it installs all that good stuff. And it's a bummer that this one only gives you two sliders here. But let's mess with it. So in the widgets, you've got, so Jetpack has this Facebook plugin, so you could do in the footer, and you have to go to Facebook. I'm gonna sign in, isn't it?
Is it just a button that can link to any URL? Or just
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Facebook page. There. So you would just grab, I don't know why Justin Bieber was the first one that came to my mind. But you can go to the page, and if you, do you all know about private browsing? So if you go to File, Incognito window, it'll show you as logged out on anything, which is really handy. But you can just grab that link and put it in here. So that's it. Show faces, show stream, show cover photo, and you can kind of set those. If we save.
It's shown up in my menu as saying it's not working connected.
It has to be a page, not a profile. It has to be like a business page. So you couldn't go, I couldn't go to my personal profile because you have to be friends. It's a privacy setting. So if it's your Facebook profile, that's personal. You have to be a friend to view it. This plugin only works on Facebook pages, which is when you create a page for a business or a person, and it's all public, and then you can like that page. So they're different privacy settings. So that's why it wouldn't be working. And you wouldn't want to show your personal profile anyway, right? Because it's personal. So that's how that one works. I think there's one for Goodreads if you're a big reader. There's a Google Plus. There's a Twitter one, I think. Oh, let's try this one. Social media icons. So let's see how this. Let's see if this works. So this is linking. I didn't fill that one in though. Did I refresh? see. That should go. Refresh. That's weird. So those should go to the ones, like it shouldn't show the ones I didn't fill in, and it should go to the right thing. Maybe let's try the Jetpack plugin and see if it's has to do with that not being set up. See, it might be this, that you have to connect these, if that's happening to you, in which case you have to be logged in on your computer. So usually if it's for a client, I will have them do this, kind of take a screenshot of it, say connect to the ones you want. That way it's, because you can't connect, you have to be logged into their accounts in order to connect these. So that's kind of annoying. But that's weird that it would not just link to the right spot. But that might be it. I can't test it. Oh wait, that's different than these. Aha. So those are right. There we go. Okay. I'm not crazy. So those are correct. So these came in true. Those are my accounts. Okay, but then these footer ones are different. So you wouldn't want to have, you're doubling up here. So those are probably in the customized settings. So let's go back there. And footer, social icons, and links. There you go. So those are different ones there. So this came with the theme. So you've got double functionality because Jetpack has a social widget in case your theme doesn't have it built in, or if you don't want the footer one for some reason. If you take out the hashtags, yeah, it disappears. So generally on the customizer, if you leave it blank, it won't show. I'm gonna say that again because it will make you crazy if you don't know that. If just leave the field blank, and usually it will not show. Also, to make things not show in the customizer, there's sometimes a checkbox that says hide this section. I've seen that a lot. You've got your copyright thing here to change, which is cool.
Also, if you can't find a way to do it through that, you can use CSS.
Yeah.
I can display that.
Yeah, let's do that too. So I'm gonna save and publish this. So the most common thing I use the custom CSS for, and I always use the Jetpack custom CSS, unless I'm gonna make big changes, then I use the child theme customizer, which let me plan a demo for that next week, and we'll really mess with some stuff. But almost always it's the footer credit that the client doesn't want to see. So like this stuff. So first let me check the customizer again and see if it'll let you take it off. Widgets, homepage, no, footer, Facebook, social media, no. I'm looking for something that says like credits. Left sidebar, nothing. Front page. Static front page, just some settings for you. Overlay. There's the icon callouts we saw. I don't see. Ooh, so they give you some colors. That's cool. So theoretically, you could get kind of close to your client's colors with that. Ooh, and they're letting you choose from a selection of Google fonts, which is nice. That's helpful. Although Railway is pretty. So that's some good. There's minimal customization there. Okay, I don't see anything that's going to let me take away that. So what I'm going to do is use the inspector and find,
Well, they assume that you want that down.
they will let you remove it if you pay them. And you kind of need to decide how you feel. I like to leave the credit in, especially if it's a free theme. Because it's, you scratch my back, I scratch yours kind of thing. If your clients generally don't like to leave it in, and this is how you hide it. So you go to find the offending element. So it's not the whole row. I don't want to get rid of the whole row, the site info. I want to keep the copyright there. There's that box for the social that we saw go in. The footer menu. So this, I kind of know that that's a footer menu that I can update in the menus. So I'm not going to get rid of that. It's this one that I want to get rid of. So I click on that. Site info. I'm looking for something that's particular to it. Important. Site info A, that's not gonna, so that if I change this, it's gonna change that menu down there too. They may have found a good way to not let you do it. So site info A, I wonder if you can choose via this. Oh, class REL. So let's try that. Let's try this one. Display. Nope. Because I don't see, the only unique element there is the class. Let me try this. What if we did just the class? Nope. Let's see. This is a tricky one. I'm gonna refresh to get rid of what I did so I can look at it again fresh. Inspect that element. Designed by SmartCat. There's their little icon. Because they have the style, this is the most powerful. So in CSS, there are 3 ways of adding your CSS. What we generally use is the external page, and that's the mystyles.css, and you import those and they affect your page. There are 2 more powerful ways to apply CSS. One is in the header of your page, and those take precedent over because the closer you are to the source, the more powerful you are in CSS world. This is the most powerful inline style. It's the least flexible because you can't change it once and have it appear everywhere. So they've been very clever about this. I'm not really sure how to get rid of it other than creating a child style and taking it out of the code, which I can show you if you want.
Did you put important?
No, I didn't do that. We could try that. The class. Try this. No, it's like, I think, well, I can try it. No. I think it's overriding because this is so close to it. Clever. So I could get rid of just the whole area. I could, ooh, wait, I have a thought. Will it let me do this? You could make it the same color as the background. It's kind of a hack. But there's that. And then I can do a hover and make, so I can make it black so you can't see it, which is a hack. It's not a really good way to do it. Given this situation, what I would have to do is create a child theme, go create a child of the home, or maybe just the footer, and remove it from the code. And I don't want to go through that whole thing because I want to kind of build up to that a little, but I will just show you in the code where it would be. So you can go to the editor, and these are all the files that come with this theme. So we've got a 404 template, archive template, comments, and theme footer. And so this is like the combination of HTML and PHP. This part right here is PHP, and this part is the HTML that includes the CSS here. So it kind of all builds together. And it's calling Athena footer. Theme functions, theme header. So that is the footer though. And oh, this is not my best. It's not where my talents are strongest. Because I thought it would be in the theme footer, but I'm looking. So this calls, the way that the templates work is they kind of split out the pages into different parts. So you'll have a header, you'll have a body, and then depending on the template, it calls different pieces. So the homepage is going to have different pieces called than like the archive. So some pages are going to be more simple than others, and you can tell what's being called by the get piece basically. So this is getting the sidebar, this is getting the footer. So I was looking for the footer.php, and I was looking in that, but it wasn't quite, it didn't have that line that I was looking for. Customizer, Jetpack, template tags.
It might be in functions.
Yeah, I was,
Sometimes they insert it.
yeah,
That's why they make it overridden.
yeah. I'll try there. But it's written right in the page. Formats, setup. Well, I'm not going to put you through this. It would take a little hunting to figure that out. And if you consider your hourly rate, it might be cheaper to find out how much they want to just buy the theme. So let's see. How much is pro? If it's like 35 bucks, then geez. What's the point? The pro version.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, that's how they get you. That's so 50 bucks. If your hourly rate is 50 bucks and it takes longer than an hour to figure that out, we'll just buy it, right? So that's how they're trying to make their money. So that is a smart cat. Yeah. But if it was something like And I'll do a demo of this next week. If it was something like 2016, you create a child theme and you can kind of reconfigure pages and add things as you need to make your own.
Once you buy it, can you use it multiple times and multiple sites, or is it only for that one site?
That depends on their licensing agreement, if you can use it over and over again. Generally, it's for one, it'll say it's for one site. Yeah, and part of that fee is gonna give you updates to the theme when they update the core software. So that'll work for a few years and then maybe they'll abandon the theme and they won't charge you anymore. Kind of depends. But I don't see, I'm sure there's a terms of service here. Usually it's for one, but I don't know that they have a good way to check you on it. But you can buy, a lot of plugins will let you buy a developer license, so that you use it on as many sites as you want. There's also something called Genesis, which Jennifer knows a lot more about. Ooh, cool. But the Genesis theme framework, if you're going to be building a lot of sites or building a lot of themes, like if you love creating original designs, then a theme designer is a really profitable job. And if you're going to be a theme designer, you probably want to use a framework. And this framework, you pay once and you get it forever. And it comes with a lot of pre-built stuff that you then just modify. So like the Borns, they use the Genesis framework. So they start from, it's kind of like buying a theme and then customizing it every time. So they use that a lot, which is good. There's also like a Bootstrap framework. Any other questions?
I was going through the discovery for the photography site we're building, and you know how like you'll have a panel of, let's say I want a page where there's a whole bunch of photography, and you know how under it it's like it clicks to add shopping cart. Like, is that something that we'll be able to do in the site?
You can. You don't have to do a cart for this project,
Yeah.
but you can.
So I was looking at like the site goals, which is buying photography for print or digital media. And so like that's her main goal. So
But she uses third-party services. So she has her like stock house that sells there, and she has a different site that prints them herself.
Okay.
If you were to sell them yourself, it's really easy. There's a plugin called WooCommerce, which is like the standard. This is what I'm using on my site, and it automatically adds the shopping cart, adds the product capabilities, adds categories and tags for your products. It's amazing.
Okay, so that's really all we would need
Mm-hmm.
for this project.
Yeah, if you wanted to do that.
Yeah.
And you're welcome to use this project for what you want to learn. Like, I'm
Yeah.
trying to give you loose boundaries.
And with WooCommerce, you have to itemize each thing that you have for each product that you're.
Yeah, I'll show you real fast. It's surprisingly easy to set up. It's the one, so this is what I'm using at Just Goods.
So when it comes to these plugins, they're safe, because with WooCommerce, it really took you to their website and.
WooCommerce was just acquired by Automatic because it was industry standard. And I guess the only way you're gonna know that is if you are like read about WordPress. There's a few sites that are dedicated to news about WordPress. There's a open Slack team that's WordPress core where you can find things out. the agency I worked for was like deep in WordPress and they knew everybody, so I would hear things. But if you didn't have that, I don't really hear things anymore. What's the name? Oh, WP Tavern is one of them. I used to get their newsletter just to find out what's going on with WordPress. If you go to WordCamps, WordCamp Sacramento is going to be in October. We're planning for it now. Jennifer will talk a little bit about that. The more you do WordPress, there's WordPress news in every dashboard. You'll just kind of hear those things if you start paying attention. So this is the functionality provided by WooCommerce and this theme. So if you're going to use WooCommerce, you need a theme that supports it because you need special layout pages. You need like the cart, the shopping process. There are a lot of them, but not as many.
What WooCommerce is that you selected? Because there's a lot of versions of it.
Just the regular WooCommerce, not like WooCommerce add-on or. But it seems to have trouble. Yeah. I actually went to Woo Themes. I went here and downloaded it when I did it, just to make sure I got the right one. Yeah, Woo Themes. And then they have themes that, okay, so you've got so I just installed WooCommerce. It had a dolphin icon. It's got a setup wizard, thank you. So, a quick setup wizard, let's go. So your store needs these pages, shop, cart, checkout, my account, continue.
Is that integrated with PayPal?
You have to integrate it with PayPal. So you have to, if that's the bank you want to use. So you might be using PayPal, you might be using authenticate.net, authorize.net. There are different payment gateways, and it should be, most stores are compatible with whichever one you are using. And you have to kind of connect the two for payments. PayPal's the easiest. So change my state here, dollars, pounds, inches, continue. And remember you wanted to see a photo slideshow, so I will do that. Basic shipping setup. So you could have a store that only sold virtual products, like ebooks and classes and phone calls and stuff like that.
Can you also restrict it that you don't want international or only the contiguous 48 states?
Yes, you can arrange, you can set all that, yeah.
Is Fiona just digital or she's sell print?
The assignment I gave you was that she sells through a third party so that you don't have to do this.
Yeah, but the custom, doesn't she have custom that she does PayPal?
She wanted PayPal for commissions, yeah. So like if she did a wedding shoot or something.
So you don't really have to have the shopping cart online.
No, you can just link
You
to
just say, speak to it.
Yeah.
Or,
if you have a PayPal Express, you can just create a button and then copy that code and put it on your site. It's pretty easy. There's also plugins to add PayPal. If you're shipping, you can add shipping costs here. You can charge sales tax. You can import tax rates, which is cool. The shipping stuff is kind of tricky because you don't want to price yourself out. So here's PayPal integration. You just add your email address that you use on PayPal. It's super easy. And then you can enable the other types. And your store is ready. You can allow them to get data if you want. And then you just have to create products, and you'll see it comes with it adds a products section to your sidebar. See right here?
Okay.
And you would just add, just like a regular post.
How would you put that on the homepage?
So you would need a theme that supports it. So let me do a product real fast. So insert that. Stop with the tour. Enough. So you can add information about your thing here. And you can set inventory. You can say if it's a virtual or a download. So let's say she was selling her own stock photos. You can add a number if you want. The big ones you have to add are like the price. You can schedule a sale, which is really cool. So like within a year or 30 days, you can have it go cheaper. So if I was gonna do the download, file name, I haven't done virtual products yet, but let's try this. This is a download. Let's say it's that file. Download limit. So the download could expire, you could say. So this would be cool, like you could do you could run a promo that says, sign up for my newsletter and I'll give you this free ebook. But you have to download it within 30 days. And when they sign up, then you direct them. So it would take some integration, right? But you can say, sign up for my newsletter and I'll give you this free gift. In your newsletter sign up settings, you can have it direct them to a page after they sign up, which shows the download code. And then they could go through the checkout process and enter that code and get the download. And that's how way you could build your list. Jennifer's a master at that kind of thing.
So, I'm still trying to find this through the website. Can you get it through the plugin to search for WooCommerce because it's not showing up?
Yeah, here, So if I go over here to plugins, add new, and open this in a new window just to show you real fast.
Would all sites support a commerce extension?
All sites support it, not all themes support it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go, so I'm searching WooCommerce within my blog here, and it's the first one, and I hit install.
Oh,
You just
okay,
found it?
I had a space between WooCommerce
Ah.
and Show.
There you go. And then there's all these add-ons that do different things. So here's like a gallery for your products. And sometimes the theme will have that kind of thing. So let's add this product so we can see it. So you can even have software to download. It's a standard product, taxable. You can get into inventory. You can say if you're out of stock of something, if they're one of a kind, you can say that I have 3, and I can allow back orders, but just let this customer know. You can group things. It's a little complicated, but you can have, like if you sell the same t-shirt in different colors, you can list that as one item with variations. It's super powerful. I've been using it for a few months and it's easy to use, but it's got a lot of capability, so it can get confusing. There's a lot of trial and error. Like, is that what I want to do? And they have a lot of really good videos. So this description, depending on your theme, is going to show up in different places. You want to set your product image. That's going to show up as the thumbnail. If you have multiple pictures, you can add it to the gallery. So if you have different pictures of the same product, you can publicize to post new products. You can have product categories. So like mine has, these are my product categories.
Can you create separate pages with the products? Like how do you?
It'll automatically, if you put them in categories. So this is the theme. So this is the category, product category template showing the upcycled wearables category. Does that make sense? So let me show you the theme. So we have one, let me publish my one product. And then you'll see here, I'm using the basic storefront theme. That's super basic. I just didn't want to, have to do a lot of searching, so I just chose their basic storefront theme. But there's all kinds of child themes, and see, they have small costs to them. And if you Google like WooCommerce themes, there's tons of them.
These would be just a page
Hmm?
on your site.
It creates a shop. So I have,
It's like a link from your site to that.
yeah, I have set my homepage to well, the storefront, WooCommerce storefront theme allows me to have this kind of text at the top, and then you can kind of set, so I have it showing my product categories, my recent products, and featured, and I've clicked a box to make them show up as featured. You could also set like on sale items. So these are rows you can customize. And then I customize the footer, and then when you can filter, like these are widgets that come with the filter by price thing, came with the theme. But there are lots of different themes. So like if you search, there are tons of themes.
How do you search the themes, the WordPress themes that are, what's the name of it? Made by them?
Oh, automatic?
Automatic. 'Cause every time I try to go to the site to do that, it's already, I'm already logged in, it wants me to log in. I
Huh.
can't search the themes without logging in, and I'm already logged in.
Oh, you can, if you just go to WordPress, if you just want to search, not logged in, you go to wordpress.com/themes, and that's their repository of themes, or .org/themes.
And can you search for the automatic themes?
Yes. If you go to one like 2016, it'll say buy automatic, and that should be a link. And then you hit that and it should show
There
up.
you go. Okay.
How much can the Woo theme match your own theme?
So you only get one theme. This is where this kind of blew my mind a little. So when you choose your WooCommerce theme, that's also your website theme. Like you can't have two separate themes. So the WooCommerce themes are special in that they have all the templates for pages and posts and categories and archives. They also have the pages, templates for shopping cart, product category. So it's an extra bundle of files on top of a regular theme. So
So it's like changing your own theme.
yeah, so let's see what happens if I view this product, because I don't think this, well, did this theme, we'll see if this theme has, it does. This was a Woo ready theme, it looks like. It has reviews. So that was it, I just listed my first product. And it has a cart, so I add to cart. And you can view your cart. I don't have a payment gateway set up yet, so nothing's gonna happen. Affiliate shipping. So it's not all set up. I wonder how little, have a coupon. I assume, yeah, no payment methods. I don't know how you could place an order. It should air out. But yeah, that's a quick overview. Yeah, if you're feeling brave and have time to mess with WooCommerce, it's pretty cool. Because you get all the goodies. I'm looking to redesign this. So I've been going through the discovery process on my own stuff, just painful. And I did that workshop with Raina and company. And I have a list of things I want in my new template. But this is just the storefront. I just got this up in a day. It took me about 5 hours to kind of get base products. Entering products is painful because there's so many things you have to enter. And I just got tired of doing it. No one's buying anything on here, so I'm like, why am I still on product?
Why that Lego?
So, but it's cool. I mean, it just takes a lot of work having gone through this, taking pictures of all the things, modifying the pictures, putting them up as products, and that takes a whole day just for like 10 products. But I do it in batches. But I want to redesign this to be a bit more appealing. And more of a, like an artist page than a shop. Right now it's just a shop.
When I was installing, I think it was WooCommerce or one of those plugins, I got a message that said something about validating, and I thought it was like validating the code. I clicked on it, but I kind of bailed out.
Validating.
Yeah.
It might have been for a license. I have to see what you installed. Yeah.
But we never have to worry about validating code through WordPress because it's already been done.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't had to do any of that. Let's do a slideshow.
Let's do a quick break.
Oh, sure. Thank you.